3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening. Ooh, let me make myself bigger. I'm not quite full there, although I have eaten a lot today, so I am very full if I'm honest with you. There we go. That's me bigger. I may well be joined by people as we go along. If anybody wants to come and let me know their thoughts, you're more than welcome. Just put in the chat that you'd like to join us, and I'll put the link in there for you. Have your say. You've got to be prepared to come on camera, though. That is the only thing. Breaking news. Apparently. John Percy, and he's put a tweet out, and I don't know whether you've had the same problem, but my Twitter's been up and down like the proverbial bride's knickers all day. So he did put a tweet out earlier, and I'm just going to try and read it again, but it is definitely down. But basically, good evening, Ronald. How are you doing? Leicester in advanced talks with Gary Rowett over manager's job. This is a John Percy exclusive. Former Premier League champions who have been deducted 6 points have turned to man who guided Oxford to safety last season. Now, I had a lot prepared because at 8 o'clock we are going live with the review of the show at the weekend, and I was quite critical of the managers we've had in place and the people that are choosing those managers. And then they're going to go and do something quite sensible like this. Or do you think it is sensible? When you look at the options, is this somebody who fills you with a bit of sort of like last? Or is it not? I mean, let's just have a look what John Percy has to say here. Leicester City are in advanced talks to appoint Gary Rowett as manager after. Well, I tell you what. Let me just say, I might actually be able to get it up. Let me have a look because you have to pay for the joy of using the Telegraph. I've got a way around it, but it's whether. Here we go. So, bear with me, ladies and gentlefolk. This was very, very much put together at the very last minute. Because I've got to say, I was having an afternoon nap, and on this news came up. So let me just see if I can share this, which I should be able to. Not that one. It's that one. Right, here we go. Right, so let me. Yeah, it's not going to be brilliant, I'm afraid, but it is as good as I can get it, and I've now disappeared. I had a feeling it's going to be one of those days. Yeah, I think that's as big as I'm going to be able to get it. Unfortunately, it's just the way the system is. So, let me have a look here. Because I'm just thinking. Okay, so let me delete that one. So yeah, well, let me just read this out to you because it's not working for me. I'll tell you, it isn't. So I'm just going to read this out. That I think is going to be the best way. I'll leave it on that one as well. But here we go. So this is what John Percy had to say. So, exclusive. Former Premier League champions have been deducted 6 points, have turned to the man who guided Oxford to safety last season. Leicester City are in advanced talks to appoint Gary Rowett as manager after dropping into the Championship relegation zone. The crisis-stricken club have moved for Rowett, a Leicester player in the early 2000s, and are on negotiations over an initial short-term role until the end of the season. Rowett has vast experience of the Championship after managing at Birmingham, Millwall, Oxford United and Stoke City, and is now emerging as Leicester's prime target 3 weeks after the sacking of Martin Cifuentes. The 51-year-old departed Oxford in December and has established a reputation as a solid operator in the division after guiding them to safety last season on a tight budget. So, get in your comments before I go any further. Get in your comments what you think. What you're thinking of this for, and let us know. Is that going to make it any bigger? Not really, is it? No. Oh well. Last week he was offered the chance to take over at Blackburn Rovers but rejected the opportunity. The Ewood Park club then appointed Northern Ireland manager Michael O'Neill, and their 3-1 win at QPR on Saturday plunged Leicester into the bottom three. Leicester have lost 4 games in a row under first-team coach Andy King, including the FA Cup exit at Southampton on Saturday. Last Tuesday they were beaten 4-3 by the same club at home in dramatic fashion despite leading the match 3-0. With the team in serious danger of relegation to the third tier, Leicester fans are in open revolt with pressure building on Chairman Top and John Rudkin, the Director of Football. Last week, Leicester were hit with a 6-point deduction for breaching the Football League's financial rules. The club is understood to still be considering an appeal, for God's sake. Rowett is now their top target to try and lead the club out of danger, with talks expected to progress in the next 24 hours. If negotiation are successful, his first match would be a trip to a former club, Stoke City, this weekend. I mean, the way I look at it is, well, let's get him in. Let's not mess about here. We haven't got long. We should get him in. And let's have a look what people are saying here. Good evening, everyone. Ronald, hi, how you doing? Clibbo, are you up? Do you want to come in, Clibbo? I did email you a link. I don't know whether you can or not, but you feel free to come in because I'd love to get your thoughts on this appointment. George is in. How you doing? Reese, email the link, Chris, and I'll be with you in 10 minutes. Will do, Reese, will do. I go from being on my own to everybody being in. Let me just email Reese here. It's an interesting appointment. Wayne's joining us in a few minutes as well. Now, Ben has a lot to say here. As you said, it's a sensible appointment, best of what we can attract right now. Baffling it's taken us 3 weeks, though, has been out of work. Just need to survive now. Hopefully makes us solid at least. I mean, what it shows me more than anything is how long. Oh, and Wayne is in. Let me just bring Wayne into the chat. Hopefully he's had a wash and a shower. Otherwise he'll stink. How you doing, mate?
All right, Chris. Well, I've had a wash. I've had a bath, but I stink a little bit less now.
Yeah, that's all right. That's the main thing. Ben says here it's a sensible appointment if it goes ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, when you go on Wikipedia and read all his stats for managership, he's done well at all the clubs, Chris.
Yeah,
Hasn't he? He's done well at all of them.
yes.
Got them punching above the weight, building good team spirit. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm almost at the point because I'd got all my rants ready for the review show, and now I might have to sort of take them back. But I mean, it's again, is it being sensible? We're offering him until the end of the season, and as we've often said, just go out and prove what you can do.
Well, if we can do that kind of deal till the end of the season, that's a brilliant deal, to be honest. Because look, we're no longer flip-flopping from the Premier to the Championship, are we? We're a different position now.
Yes.
So I'd say he's the best manager we could have got. I think it's a great appointment.
I do. I mean, unfortunately, his preferred formation is 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, Jim did say he is a bit flexible, isn't he? I think, which
Well, hopefully he is, because that's one of the things, and I'm going to save all my graphics for tonight, but they're a bit hard-hitting. But we need somebody who can come in and say, I've looked at you, this hasn't worked, I know this is my formation. If I keep the job and get the players in I want, then I will be able to play that formation. But until then, let me make the best of what I've got.
Yeah, so do you think it's like an appointment, so see how you get on, and if you get on well, we'll give you a contract? That's what you hope, isn't it?
That's what it looks like. I mean, it looks like, they've said to him, right, or they're talking to him, and they've said, right, keep us in the division. Here's your wage for the next 6 months. Keep us in the division, and this will be your bonus. And that's what happens with a lot of these, isn't it, when they take on like the Sam Allardyces and the Neil Warnocks towards the end of the season. And when you then, keep us up, depending how you keep us up, might be by the skin of our teeth, in which case, but...
I like it how you said when, not, Chris, not if.
Oh no, I'm trying to be positive. For once, I'm trying to be positive. I wasn't positive enough to put the Leicester City shirt on, but I mean, I'm just looking there, getting his what was his playing details as a manager. We'll go through this in a second. Yeah, I think he can keep us up. Look, my choice would be Sean Dyche, 110%. And before anybody starts going, oh, no, not Sean Dyche, blah, 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 bollocks. I was actually talking to Dan, Dan, the Burnley fan. I was actually talking to him earlier, and he was saying, mate, it'd be a bloody good appointment. But then I was on YouTube earlier, and I did see another. Sorry, I just realised the microphone's not in position, and hopefully that's better. And I did see another Burnley channel that wants to get rid of Scott Parker and saying it's time for Sean to come home.
Yeah, he's got to be waiting for that job, hasn't he?
You'd think so. It's the obvious one, I suppose, isn't it? And that's kind of his team more than any other. Yeah,
most definitely. He's got a history with them. I think Rowett fits us. Don't think Dyche would particularly fit us that. If we got him, which I didn't see how we would get him. But Rowett, he's gutted that he was sacked from Oxford because he says he would have kept them up, didn't he?
Yes, yes. And you know, he was interim manager at Birmingham as well, and he was doing all right there. Oh no,
Yeah.
it wasn't him that was sacked, was it? It was John Eustace, I think, who was sacked for Wayne Rooney. At least we haven't got Wayne Rooney coming in. I mean, good God.
When you look at his history, though, you wonder why he wasn't given longer at some of these clubs he's been manager of.
Is it because, do you think, he's not a name?
I think it could be, but you look at his record overall, his wins, draws, losses ratio, what he's done with the teams he's taken over. He's done well with all of them. He really has done well with all of them. Millwall have never had a loss of money. Did really well with Millwall. Well, all the clubs you read through, all of them, he's done well. He's not like stank at any of them.
No, and that's the interesting thing. But I mean, some teams, and this has been Leicester up until recently, we've got to have a name. When you look at the appointments we've made over the years, and we've had Sven-Goran Eriksson. We had who was the seal? What I've forgotten his name.
Rodgers,
Brendan Rodgers. Yeah, we've had some normal ones in there, but I think the last one where we actually took a risk and went for somebody that had to prove themselves was Martin O'Neill.
Yeah, yeah, because even Enzo was pretty from where he'd come from. Yeah, and to be honest, Chris, I think it's like the love affair with 4-2-3-1 and modern sort of pep football, and that's been found out in the Premier League, in the Championship. Like when Enzo was in charge of the most expensive squad in the division at the time, teams found him out, managers found him out tactically, and Enzo just could not break other teams down. He hit a brick wall in that regard, and he nearly blew it. So, yeah, I like Gary Rowett. I think he's the best fit, even above Sean Dyche, to be honest, because if we do go down, I think Gary Rowett would want the project. Because what a great project to have to say, well, I got sacked from Oxford. Leicester were basically dead and buried, but I think I've built enough that if they give me the job, I think we can have a really good season next season in the Championship. So for Rowett as well, it's a great fit, isn't it?
I think so. Look, for me, we don't need a name. Look, Birmingham tried that when they got the granny shagger in, allegedly. No, it's not allegedly, it was proven, wasn't it? When they got him in, and look what happened. You can't just because you're a name, and I've what I always said. Jose Mourinho couldn't do what he did if he'd been at Oldham United, Oldham Athletic and what have you, and the squad they had. He's had the Championship. I mean, how many of these teams did he have in the Championship here? Oxford, Birmingham interim, Millwall, Stoke, Derby, Birmingham, and Burton and RVN. Thank you, Matt Ben, and Burton Albion were maybe in the division below. I mean, look, his win percentage. Well, at Burton it was 44. Birmingham it's just about 40. Derby 43. Stoke 31. Millwall 39. Birmingham as an interim manager 38. Oxford was 28. Now, if he comes in and gets a 28% win record for us, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Clibbo says, "Oh, you got Stephen Hendry look going, Wayne." I'm thinking, I don't know like Stephen Hendry, do I?
I didn't see it. I can't see it, to be honest with you.
I think I said Clibbo's got the Dave Grohl look, didn't I? Dave Grohl look.
Yes, you did. Yes,
which is a very cool look, actually, Clibbo.
Ages doing them. Don't you knock my graphics that'll be coming up later.
Do you know what? I mean, that win percentage is most managers would dream of that win percentage.
Yeah, they would. Yeah. Clibbo just eating his dinner. If you want to jump on after Clibbo, you are more than welcome. Get it down your throat.
Just remember when he took Burton Albion to the third round of the FA Cup as well. They had a really good run in the cup, didn't they, Burton Albion? They were,
yeah.
Even championship teams were thinking, hey, we're in for a game here.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to say, Dawn, excellent. Yes. I wasn't expecting that.
That's a brilliant one, isn't it? Oh,
definitely.
I'd buy that for $1.
Anybody who remembers RoboCop? Yeah, I'm just looking at that and I'm thinking, are Leicester doing something sensible here? I mean, I'm just going to try and get up. I mean, some of the names that were linked with us. Ralph Husenhall.
Hasenhüttl.
Yeah, I can never say it. Yeah, the 9-0 manager. Let's call him that. In fact, Sky Bet on the next Leicester manager page, they've taken it down.
Wow.
There's nothing up. What does that tell you?
I think this is the best outcome that we could possibly hope for, Chris, for me.
Wow, not only that, but odds checker, when you go onto their link, Leicester City next manager permanent next permanent manager betting odds, that is the Birmingham, they've got nobody down either. They've got Tottenham and they've got Manchester United, they've got Crystal Palace, they've got Celtic. They haven't even got us list where it says other outrights.
They know what the score is, don't they, Chris?
I think that let's be honest with you. When have you ever known a bookie lose money?
Exactly.
Yeah, he battered us in the League Cup with Burton. I remember, says Ben. I can just go through and I can just name a few here that were on the list. Look, Andy King, bless him. I think Andy King's been hung out to dry. I really do.
Yeah, I think he'll be relieved, Chris, to be honest. In fact, he was asked about, so how long are you doing this for? And he said, look, I'm here until we get a new manager. And I'll take the training, take the match day, the lads, but, until somebody comes in. So he wanted, Iris, he wouldn't want that job. I think I would imagine he's loving the fact that he can just step aside now. Kinger. Yeah. Too much, too soon.
God, for a minute there, it scared me. Reece was huge. And there's not many people say that to his face. Right, moving on. Hope you're well, Reece. Hope everything that was going on is all sorted for you. I'm just saying, Sky Bet have got a link in Google saying next permanent Leicester manager. Odds checker, we've got Leicester City next permanent manager betting odds. You click on both of those, and the pages don't exist anymore.
Wow, I mean, it must be getting close then. I mean, I've heard nothing from my source about Gary Rowett, but looks like it's getting close by the day. So let's just hope he does the job.
Yeah, I mean, John Percy broke it earlier in the day, and I can't tell you when because Twitter's been up and down like a bride's knickers today, and it's back up again. I don't know if anybody else has had that problem, but he broke this 3 hours ago, and it says, exclusive, Leicester City in advanced talks to appoint Gary Rowett as manager, negotiations underway over an initial short-term deal to the end of the season, Leicester now in the Championship relegation zone. I was saying to Wayne earlier, Reece, this is a bit sensible for Leicester, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, I do believe, though, if he does keep us up, he will get a longer-term contract. But at the end of the day, if he does do the job and he keeps us up comfortably, I'd say, then why not reward him? He's proven that he can do the job. with a shower of shit. And then if he can get some players in next season, then yeah, why not? I mean, doesn't matter if his name's not bloody, a Spanish name or an Italian Enzo Maresca sort of name. Doesn't matter what his name is. And some people do look down their nose upon people with, Gary Rowett or Steve Cooper. It's not really it's a name that gets you excited, but I don't give a shit at this stage. Just keep us up. Just keep us up.
We said that, didn't we, Wayne? I was poo-pooed for me saying that I wanted either Sean Dyche or I didn't say I wanted them, but I wouldn't be against the Sean Dyche or a Chris Wilder appointment. Excuse me, both of them have done well with the clubs. It's just that Nottingham Forest have got a complete and utter idiot as an owner. I mean, God Almighty, can you imagine if Top sells Leicester to Mariakis? I mean, it would be mass emigration from Leicester, wouldn't it? But Wayne, this is it, isn't it? I mean, give it him for 6 months, and if he keeps us up, he's proved himself. Like I say, basic wage for 6 months, bonus if you keep us up, and if you keep us up, we'll have you in and we'll talk about next season.
Yeah, and it would be nice to have some stability, to be honest. It's interesting how Frank went to Tottenham. He's all these are perfect fit for us. And the reality is, most managerial appointments probably last 2 or 3 years if you're lucky, and you get the longer serving ones who are very lucky. But it would be nice to have a period of stability. It would be nice if it carried on, like bringing the younger lads on, because we've seen like a Luco, for instance, and some people establish themselves really. And I think maybe, if he comes in and gets the team playing better, people like JJ, he might think, yeah, I like this project. Like, you want players to think like Monger and all everything. You want people to think, right, I can see possibilities here. I can see where we might go. Yeah.
Reece, this was something that Wayne said earlier, so I'm not going to pinch this off him. But if he can't keep us up, but let's say we go down, I mean, look, whoever comes in at this point, it's like Red Adair. For those of you that are too young to know who he is, he used to firefight on the North Sea oil rigs around the world, to be honest with you, if they ever caught fire. I don't think he could put our fire out at the moment, to be honest with you. But if we go down and he is still interested, he could actually, as Wayne said earlier, when you look at Leicester as a project, is still at the moment an interesting one for anybody. He could stay even if we go down.
Maybe, yes, but I don't think his football is sustainable for a long-term period. It's very counter-attacking. It's very defensive. 4-4-2. Is it sustainable? I don't know in the modern game, but I'm not against it, because maybe we do need to go back to basics. Maybe we need to forget about this 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 bollocks and just keep it, get the defensive structure right. Then we'll work forward and then we'll build the attackers up and stuff. I think players like Abdul, I think players like Mavadidi, Monga, I think Page, Daka as well, I think they'll relish under this system. Keep in your shape, and when the opportunity comes, bang, quickly forward, none of this tippy-tappy shit. Get that ball forward as quickly as you can and hit them with pace. So it could be something that works. Maybe in the long term, I'm not sure, but I'm not against it. I
mean, interesting you can say there about 4-4-2. I mean, on Transfer Market here, it says his preferred formation is 4-2-3-1.
It is, but he has also come out and said, depending what sort of players he's got, he will rotate between those two formations. At Oxford, he was more the 4-4-2. At Birmingham, he was more the 4-2-3-1. I would like to see... But have we got the players to play 4-4-2? I don't know. I think some of the injured players like JJ, Aaron Ramsey, and players like that, they could do the 4-4-2. But I don't know with the current players we've got at the moment. But it's refreshing to hear that he's willing to change it up and stuff.
I would, Wayne, if I had. In fact, I've got a tenner in my pocket, and if I'd noticed this earlier and looked into this, I would have actually probably put a lot of money on him getting the job, because his agent is Wasserman, who I believe half our bloody squad are linked to.
Yeah, he's everywhere. He is. Yeah. I like him, Chris. I like him. Because you just want a manager to either kick arses to some players, but then you also put your arm around others. You know, you vary in. One size doesn't fit all, and he's obviously, through his mainly Championship career, is good at getting the best out of his squad, whether they're lean and not like full of stars. Because it's interesting. There was a YouTube thing. It was on about the 10 highest salaried players in the Championship, and Southampton have got a lot of high earners.
Yes, I saw that. They've actually got somebody higher than Harry Winks.
Yeah. And
I also watched that video about Leicester. Yeah, about Leicester putting him. What would happen? You know, and talk about top. You know, the one you sent me the link for. The guy from Sunderland. And I'm trying to get him on, actually. So we'll wait and see if that comes to any fruition. But as Ronald says here, Rowett did manage Ben Nelson last season and got the best out of him. Reece. Very, very true, isn't it?
He said Ben Nelson is Premier League quality.
I believe him. I believe he is Premier League quality.
And
he just hasn't had the right.
Sorry, mate.
Go on, Wayne. No, go on.
And interesting, like the question I had on Saturday was, if Rowett was in charge of the last 4 games, would he have started a Luco? You know, would it? And like when Nelson had a iffy game in the cup, would Rowett have carried on playing Nelson? Would he have took him out of the team for X amount of weeks like Marty did? So it's interesting that, so I do think there is a possibility that he will veer towards. I don't think he'd have took Nelson out if he had an iffy game in the cup. If he thinks he can play in the Premier League, you know, that was a real, you know, what are you doing taking him out?
But there was a word that Reece said there, which was flexible. You know, Ruud van Nistelrooy wasn't flexible. As good as Enzo was, he wasn't flexible. Clibo says here, Reece, explain your reasoning, Reece, regarding players not good enough to play the simplest system to play.
Well, number one, these young lads, these players that we've got at the moment, they've been brought up on 4-3-3s, 4-2-3-1s, and it's ingrained in them, whether we like it or not. Yes, I agree with Uncle Clibo, it is the simplest formation in football. But to play that 4-4-2, you need hard-working grafters in the middle of the park, all over the pitch. Have we got any of them? What I've seen this season, absolutely no fucking chance. So that's where I'm thinking, have we got the players and the hunger to play a 4-4-2? If Rowett can do it, then why fucking not? But I don't know.
Ronald says here, you wouldn't have got this job if we weren't in the mess we're in. I hope he grabs it with both hands. We need that. And that's the thing, isn't it, Wayne? If we weren't in this division, he probably wouldn't have got the job. What he's got to look, I think, and do, which is what a lot of managers have got to do, is look at this and go, will I ever manage a Premier League team? And the answer probably, let's be honest with you, is no, because if all the teams in the Premier League, the top half want named managers and the bottom half want Spanish, German or Italian. So his best chance for a lot of managers is to take a club like this, and I'm saying we're a sleeping giant, but take a club like this and get us promoted.
Yeah, and I think when you look at Ruud van Nistelrooy and we're like, oh my God, you know, roll neck jumper. I bought one actually, thinking, great, we're going to play some brilliant football. Marty as well. I don't think
You milk tray man, you milk tray man.
I think with systems, we can all get hung up on systems, but the attitude, I believe the attitude is more important than the system you play. So if you're pressing down and organised, great. If you're strong in the tackle, if when you get the ball, you are brave on the ball, and all the best managers when you watch Premier League teams, your Sunderlands, well, the people that are brave and break the lines are the teams that do well. And I do think that Rowett is more equipped to build the character of the players and to build the players back up, which we need, because like Monger's a shadow of himself.
Yeah.
You've got Aluko being taken out of the team, Nelson being taken out of the team. Although he's getting a run now, you've got to play them all the time. Play them all the time. The young kids will make the odd mistake, but carry on playing, because when they play now, they are the future. They're good. If they're not starting next season,
as Whitney Houston says, I believe that children are the future.
Tell Dan he's too late. That joke's already been done, Chris.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, keep it up, Dan. Keep it up. Keep up with us. You're all right, mate. Nice to speak to you earlier.
Just quickly, is I have spoke to quite a few people and they rave about his man management skills. He is more of a man manager than a tactician sort of manager. And when he was coming up through the ranks at like Birmingham and they sacked him, he was being like touted to get a Premier League job. And obviously, I don't know what's happened since then, but he has got it in him, so I just hope that, his man management skills can pay off with these bunch of egotistical twats, let's say. But we'll find out. But that is a good plus as well.
Isn't it? That's what you want.
Yes.
He can go in and he can say, guys, I've played for this club. Okay, I'll be honest with you, it was only 2 seasons. But I've played for this club. It was 2000, 2001, and 2001, 2002. And he wasn't a bad player. I don't, particularly have any bad thoughts about him and what have you. I know this division, and I think he is the one. And this is why I was a little bit surprised when I first saw it, because I don't think he'll be one that will go in and go, yes, sir, no, sir, bend over, John, and I'll lick your arse. I think he will, I know there's a thought for you. I think he'll go in and go, right, if you want me, this is what I'm doing. How much do you want to stay in this division? Wayne, sorry.
Yeah, I agree. That's all right.
Yeah. Go on, Reece, you carry on, mate.
Sorry. I agree. I mean, we're not in a position now to go, oh, we need to play this player, or we need to play that player. No, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do it my fucking way. So you're either on board with it and you want to stay in this league, or ta-ta, and you can go bankrupt for all I fucking care. So I hope he's been firm with what he wants to do. And I hope that will be drop Ricardo, drop Luke Thomas, drop Jordan Ayew, put Badia Luco in, get Monger in the side, get Louis Page in the side, get these players playing, for fuck's sake. Because if we stay in this league, these are going to be first-team starters next season, because we're probably not going to be able to spend any money yet again. So for fuck's sake, just get these lads bedded in. It's not hard.
17 players apparently could be leaving in the summer. Especially to go down.
Yes.
Oh, no, include your favourites as well. So don't celebrate too much. But Wayne, I forgot what I was going to say now. I had a good question for you then, and it's gone. Rowett was the only decent signing Peter Taylor made. You could argue that.
He might come along and play Monger in the 10.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Thank you. I've remembered my question. We want a manager that's going to come in and put square pegs in square holes, aren't we?
Wouldn't that be a luxury, Chris?
Simple, but effective. Do you know, have you ever had a dream? And I'm not going to go into my Martin Luther King speech here, but have you ever had a dream where you've actually dreamt that you are managing Leicester City?
I actually had a dream about 2 months ago that I was actually playing for Leicester City.
Playing, right? Well, I'm not up to that sort of standard, so I couldn't dream that. But I have had a dream a while ago about I was taken over as Leicester City, and let me manage it. Let me tell you something. I played 4-4-2. But what I did was I went to all the players and asked, "What's your favourite position to play?"
That's revolutionary, Chris.
It is, simple, bit like me, but could be effective, not like me. I mean, yeah, it is square peg, square hole time. If you go and Monga says, "Look, I'd sooner play in a number 10," then why are you sticking him out on the wing?
Yeah, there is that. He has got previous of playing on the right wing, not the fucking left wing that these previous managers have been putting him in, which I never understood from the start of the season. But yes, it is time for square pegs and square holes. Put these. I can't even believe we're even talking about this, because it's just common knowledge to managers. But yet we're talking about square pegs and square holes, which should be a minimum, like a fundamental sort of thing, So it's just crazy, to be honest with you. Like, can we just see some normality in the formation and players playing where they're playing, please?
Exactly.
Silly.
And Monga up against Newcastle came on the right wing. Monga came on the right wing against Newcastle for his debut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Forest as well, Wayne. Absolutely ripped them to pieces. Ripped them to pieces.
And talking about crazy, welcome along, Clibbo. Hope you've stuffed your face.
Yeah, I feel a bit sick now, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to do that, we'll do that in the next show, please. Clibbo, your thoughts on this news?
Well, I mean, am I excited? No. Do I think he's the best man for the job? No. Do I think he's the best we could get? Yes. Am I going to back him? 100%. The thing that I'm annoyed about is that he's been out of work. Well, we've had not a manager for like over 2 weeks or so. He's been out of work for months, and it's took till now, which tells me that they wanted Kingy and they wanted him to stay till the end of the season. And it's obviously not worked out. So I'm not sure how. I mean, they're obviously offering Gary something to sweeten him, which absolutely, he's in the driving seat here, really. I think out of the potentials that we could have had, I think he's got a fighting chance. I'm definitely going to back the guy.
You say, are you excited? No. Is an excited manager what we need at the moment? Don't we need somebody that's had experience in this league, that's going to just come in and hopefully, like we've said, square pegs, square holes, tell the players, how shit they are, make them play better than they are. And, it might not be exciting, but it's what we need.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. It's just that natural emotion that you get. It's like. But going back to something that you had just mentioned there, and I'm sure Wayne will have something to say about this, because I know he takes an interest in the youth side of the game. But in terms of using players out of position, if you're going to watch, because I used to watch a lot of the youth team, but particularly now, a lot of the players will, like if you say, I'm a defender, they'll get used all across the back four. The midfielders will get used all across the middle, because that's the modern way. They're trying to get them to understand all positions. So they're kind of brought up with that. So I get it a little bit, but I think when you're in a situation that we're in, you can't be trialing things. Let's just say that.
Would you agree, Wayne?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to watch the next game. Is it? I can't remember who they're playing. Playing Newcastle soon. I forget. But yeah, it's interesting because I checked up on them, and under 21s, we're 7th in the PL2 league. Ipswich are top, Chelsea second, and so Chelsea play Man United, Fulham, Liverpool, Southampton. Then Leicester were above Tottenham, Man City, Arsenal, West Ham, Palace, Everton. So we're doing okay. It is a step up though, and look, Luca. My bugbear was Aluko and Nelson not getting a chance after making a mistake. Aluko, you can see his quality. You just need a manager to give them a chance and help them build the confidence and say, look, if you make a mistake, it's because if you make a mistake and then you don't get another game, I'm sorry, that's not good for the confidence. If they make a mistake, you say, look, you made a mistake, and look, maybe next time you do that, but you're going in again. You've got to allow people to make mistakes because we all make mistakes in life, and it is a big step up to the Championship from the under 21s, but there are certain players when you watch like Chelsea, there's 3 or 4 of those you could think they could step into a Championship side straight away, and look at Aluko and that. So I think Rowett will, if he's got a high percentage of win rate as well, which he has on all the clubs he's been at, on some limited funds at some of the clubs, then I think is the best we could hope for at this time, really.
Ray Stan says here you'd like to think maybe it's taking time for Rowett to lay his cards on the table and them lot upstairs to have to battle out there for and against. I think it's the sound appointment for right now. I mean, I made the joke that between us sacking Cifuentes and appointing his predecessor, his successor, that Nottingham Forest will have sacked their manager, appointed a new manager, and sacked him this season before we get round to doing it. Is this being sensible, or does this not still show up the powers that be at Leicester City for being the incompetent idiots that they are? Because I still say that one game did not get Rowett the sack. Did not get Cifuentes the sack. It was 4 or 5 games before. So they must have started to think about, are we going to keep him? Are we not going to keep him? And, I to me, it's just fucking obvious. And if that's the case, then you start putting you get your spreadsheets out and you start looking at names and who's available. Oh, he's just been sacked, so let's add him onto the list. Which is it? Is it them being sensible now and taking the time and weighing up the pros and cons, or is it them just being incompetent as per?
Well, it's either one or two, but it's about having a contingency plan. Like we used to be, like I said, one of the best run clubs in the country. We sacked Puel straight away, got Brendan Rodgers in straight away, contingency plan, got the man we wanted, let's carry on. And then ever since then, it's just gone downhill, and it's just been lazy. It's just been lazy from the top of the club. Going back to what Turf Morehouse just said there, I'd like to think it'd be that situation, and Gary Rowett would be like, well, no, if you want me to be in charge, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and you're either on board with it or you're not. So I'd like to think that would be the case, but I really don't think it is the case. I think it's the latter, that we are just refusing to learn from our mistakes, not planning anything. Do I think we could have got worse? Absolutely. And I do believe that this is his biggest job so far. You look at the clubs that he's managed, Derby, Birmingham, Stoke, Oxford. I think that's it, something like that. This will be his biggest job in terms of club size and his pedigree and his stock. So I don't know. Well, I hope it goes well for him. I really, really do. I hope it goes really well for him and he does get the job full time. But I've got my doubts. I've really got my doubts with this fucking club at the minute.
He did turn Stoke down in the Premier League, He's admitted that.
Really?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah,
He did, yeah.
yeah, on an interview.
And Wayne
I've
just
watched.
turned Blackburn Rovers down.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
they're
I
a
mean,
mess. They're a worse mess than what we are. They're a worse mess than what we are at the minute. They've been like that for years and years and years under the
But
Venkies.
do you think, Wayne? Sorry, yeah. Do you think, Wayne, that he knew that this might be in the pipeline?
Who, Rowett?
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, the managers, look, if you get the managers, they get a sack and then they get another job. You know, if you've managed in the Championship, you've got a good pedigree, really. That's a good mark against your name. Yeah, I do. It would be nice to have some stability, and I think I agree with what Reece says about the club hoping Kingy would keep us up. So in Top's interview, he says, you know, with that one from Thailand, he sort of says, you know, we want to get back in the Premier League. And then in his second interview, he says deludedly that, you know, we want to get to the playoffs. And all of his fans sort of thought, well, that is not happening. So I do think, so the form is to think you're in a better position and your options are better than they actually are. So that I can see why Reece said, and I think that they were hoping that Kingy would.
Yeah, but sticking with you for a second, Wayne. Then, no manager will ever look at a football club and go, "I'm not taking that job because it's a mess." You know, if you'd take it, and look, let me put it to you, because if Rowett takes over at Leicester and doesn't keep us up, are we really going to blame Rowett?
No.
Did we blame Dean Smith for us getting relegated from the Premier League? It's a win-win situation. If he keeps them up, he'll go, look at me. I bet over and the sun shone out my arse. You know, but you know, if we go down, it was, well, not my fault. Look at the mess the club were in. And they'll always get money. And, you know, they're never worried about taking these jobs on. I always quote this, Nigel Pearson, when he went to Watford, and he got sacked after he got them out of the relegation zone, and was asked by Sam Allardyce, why did you take that job? And he says, well, I get paid. I get a write-off. Jose Mourinho has made £40 million from compensation deals. You know, it's a whole career in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you're a manager for 10 or 15 years, if you've not got a property portfolio by the end of it, you're doing something wrong. Yeah. Steve Howard, he runs a company, doesn't he, helping footballers invest in property. Yeah, but if he keeps us up, you look at his CV over all those clubs like Millwall and Derby and Burton and that, he's got a really good win rate. Yeah. And obviously people are managers because they like help. Normally you're a manager because you like to help people, you see potential in people. And I think Rowett's different from the Ruud van Nistelrooy and the Marte, and I think Rowett can develop more character with the players and help them become better versions of themselves.
Clibbo,
just quickly, Chris, just going back to what you just said there about it's a win-win for him. That's why I'm banking well, not banking, but like I'm just begging that, like, because he sees it as a win-win situation, he'll go in with no pressure and then he can relax and perform at his best, sort of thing. That's what I'll be hoping for as well. So, yeah.
No, good point. Leading on from that, though, Clibbo, that leads me quite in. With it been a win-win for him. The players that are there, he can demand respect off them, even wings, because you know he can say, look, you know, I've had more experience in this league than you've had hot dinners, or journeys up from Milton Keynes, if you like. But also, my worry is when players know a manager's leaving at the end of the season, and this happened with Pellegrini at Man City the year we won the Premier League. It was announced that he was leaving with like 3 months left, and the players just kind of gave up. What do you think the Leicester players will go say? Well, he's asked me to do this, but he's not going to be in after the end of the season.
Well, the key thing here is in this situation, particularly in the Championship, you need somebody who knows the ins and outs, the mechanics of how the Championship works, both mid-table and lower table and relegation. Now, he has got the kind of reputation of dogfight, that kind of manager, so that goes for him. So the key thing is, where he'll earn his money is being able to put that across to those particular players, the ones that are working their notice. So that's where we'll see his mettle. We're not going to see, it's like Reece said, we're not going to see it in his tactical genius. And I think he'd probably be the first to admit that he's not Alex Ferguson, you know? I don't want to use the word Pep because I'm sick of hearing about Pep. So Alex Ferguson. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to admit that, but that's where, for me, whether it's a quality addition to the management, is whether he can get that across, that very point that you just made. But he's got all of the tools and all the experience needed and necessary, in my opinion, to do that.
6 months, Reece. We all know who's available at the end of the season if he doesn't sign a new contract. Scabola at Lincoln. Is that behind their thinking? Give it in for 6 months because Scabola, look, he's not going to do a Brendan Rodgers and leave now when they're in second in the division and the chance of going up, and he might well wait to see where they are. Do you think that is in his mind?
Maybe so.
In Leicester's mind, sorry. In Leicester's mind.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. But it's a big gamble. It's a big gamble considering the situation we're in the minute. Because I think if I had to put money on it, I would say we're going down. So it's a big gamble to think like that. But if that is the case, I'm not against it. But I think that would be a bit harsh on because I do think now I've just been sat here thinking about it. Maybe we need a manager for like now till the end of next season, just to start, get the fundamentals right, get the attitude, the culture right, and then the next manager comes in, and then the next manager comes in, sort of thing. So, mate, if Rowett keeps us up, I'd think he'd be the guy to solidify those sort of things, like the culture and at the club. So because we've got no culture at the club at the minute, so it's a bit of a gamble what you'd said there, but it could be their thinking, maybe so.
Wayne, I'm just checking this here. Just bear with me. But when he was at Birmingham City, 2023 to 2024. Birmingham City 2023 to 2024. At the end of that season, that is his only relegation on his CV. And he was at Birmingham for 8 matches. I think he took over from Wayne Rooney, didn't he, when Rooney was sacked. You're on mute, mate. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
It takes a while for my brain to engage to understand simple instructions, Chris. Sorry, mate.
You are on mute, Wayne.
Yeah, he said he took over from Tony Mowbray, who took medical leave. Yeah, and he says
he was interim manager. I'm getting him and Eustace confused all the time. So
he says he oversaw the club's remaining 8 league matches, winning 3 times.
Yeah,
but it just wasn't enough to prevent relegation. So, yeah.
So you can't really blame him for that, can you?
No.
I mean, he had 8 games. He won 3, he drew 2, and he lost 3. His win percentage was 37.5%. Apart from that, and like you say, you could argue he had 8 games there, he hasn't got a relegation on his CV.
Yeah, so that's consistent with, because from the win percentages that you described at all the clubs, he's got a win percentage of around 40, sometimes a bit higher than 40, the odd time a bit lower. So that seems his average win percentage, which, yes, please.
Yeah.
Well, and what I do think as well, when you think about the Southampton game, we were 3-0 up. You know, we didn't lose that game on our ability. We lost that game on our character and ability to stand strong when things got tough. And that's something that obviously Rowett is very good at, or he seems very good at. Because if you're getting an average 40% win ratio, you're consistently over 5-6 teams doing something right.
Yeah. Clibbo, just looking at this here, let's go back to Burton Albion. Points per game. When he was at Burton, 135 games, 1.6 points average per game. Birmingham, full-time manager, 106 games, 1.49. Derby, 60 games, 1.6. Stoke, 29 games, 1.34. Millwall, 196 games, 1.45 average. Caretaker manager, we can forget that in his second stint. And Oxford, 50 games at 1.14. So, I mean, that Oxford stint was his worst, but it was probably the worst squad that he'd had out of all of them. I mean, even at 1.14, would you take that now?
Well, I think, personally speaking, I think if you look at the best of that, I think it was 1.6 something. I think he's going to have to be somewhere near 1.5 to keep us up. Because I believe we need at least 21 points from possible. I think it's possible 42. I think you need at least 21 plus.
It all depends, because I think obviously we're thinking, Reece, that Wednesday are down. I mean, that goes, you know, I think if they're not there already, because I think they could have been done at the weekend. Oxford possibly down, so it's Blackburn or us, possibly. Portsmouth are above us, but they have got 2 games in hand. Norwich are pretty much safe, Charlton are, and I think Blackburn or West Brom are the others. Blackburn have only got a manager in that's sharing the job, you know, and they want somebody that's in there to try and keep them up. They have appointed a manager who's got to go off and sort a World Cup qualifying game out, so he's going to be out of the picture for a couple of weeks. That seems a really, really weird decision, but the guy's done that before, so you know I might be doing him injustice here. But the thing that was getting me with Gary Rowett, and here's a big incentive for him. He was sacked this season by Oxford United. Oxford United are below us in the league table. If he can keep Leicester up and you know, Oxford go down, fucking hell, that's a big to the Oxford board, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to remember Oxford are not the biggest squad in the league, and considering what he's doing with their budget, I think he's worked a miracle there, because they're not really a championship club. They've got a League One budget basically, and he were working miracles there. So I think he was getting as good a tune as he could out of that poor championship squad sort of thing. So I think on paper, he's probably got the best players, like pound for pound on paper, that he'll ever have at his disposal with us, you know, with the likes of Abdul, Mavadidi, JJ, Aaron Ramsey, Ben Nelson, of course, who worked with him at Oxford. So let's see what he can do with better players, and I mean better, because I do believe we have got better players than probably most of the Championship, to be honest with you. Let's see what he can do. Keep it simple for him. Just keep it simple, and maybe they'll start performing, but we will see.
14 games to go, Wayne. Like I say, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, well, like I say, Portsmouth are 1 point more than us, but they have got 2 games in hand. They have only won one of the last 5, but you know what it's like at Leicester. They'll go ahead now and win those 2. I honestly think it's between us, West Brom and Blackburn. And West Brom are having a kind of struggle at the moment, aren't they? And I say, to me, if I was Gary Rowett, I'd be going, oh, come on, please stay up and let Oxford go down.
What you muted, Wayne?
I'm trying to disguise my cough, Chris. Yeah, if he can get 1.4, as Clibbo said, I mean, if we got 1.4 for 32 matches, we'd be level with Watford and QPR in the middle of the table, which, considering we're clearing out all the players, is a damn good place to be this season, to be honest. Bringing the young players
would give
in.
us just short of 20. Well, let's round it up to 20 points. So that would give us 52 points. You've got to think at 52, we'd be safe.
I think we'll be safe something like 42, 44 maybe.
Risky that.
Yeah.
We're going to round it. Yeah, we're going to round it up now because we've got a show coming up at 8 o'clock. We'll be back with you then, Clibbo, and Brad's joining us to look back at the debacle that was the FA Cup. And I'm still going to have me rant. I've practiced me rant, so I'm going to have me rant, even though this might be happening.
Can't wait. I'll be looking forward to that one.
Yeah. If you're free tomorrow, Reece, do you want to come on the Foxes Forum?
Yeah. I'll double check. 8 o'clock, right? Okay, I'll double check and I'll take tomorrow morning.
Yeah, just to let anybody know that's watching, all our shows are now, apart from the watch along, obviously, are going to fall in at 8 o'clock because we're just as like 3 or 4 of us channels all overlapping with each other, and it makes it a little bit of a nonsense, really. So, and 6 o'clock, nobody's really they're still getting in at home and sorting the kids out, what have you. So, I think it makes sense for us to move all the main shows to 8 o'clock. Which obviously that one is going to be Foxes Forum tomorrow. You saw I put a note in, I think, in the chat about what it was going to be. That might change now with all this going on. It's a very flexible topic. Is on Tuesday. And Wayne, you're back with me on Thursday for the prediction. Everybody's on holiday this week. Is it half term or what this week? Everybody's away, But no, thank you all very, very much. Thanks to everybody in the chat. If you've been listening, I know not yet, Ronald. They are just in talks. But look, there's so much bad news, isn't there, guys, about Leicester at the moment, that it's actually quite good and quite nice to come on and talk something positive.
Yes.
Slightly more positive.
Well, slightly more. Yeah. Positive might be a bit of a strong word. I don't know. But, guys, thanks to everybody that's been in the chat. Thanks to Clibbo, Reece, Wayne, and, of course, thank you to me. And I always forget to thank myself, but I should do. That's only polite, isn't it? We'll be back at 8 o'clock with the review of the FA Cup. And could be worse. We could be Burnley. Check us out on the podcast. If you have been listening via your favourite podcast station, thanks very much indeed. We'll be back at 8 o'clock. Thanks, everybody. And don't go away. Come back at 8 o'clock and see us. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.